Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I actually wanted to talk about a concept called dopamine dressing, or the art of dopamine dressing. So dopamine dressing is the concept that, or the idea of wearing clothes that put you in a good mood or make you feel happy. It is a way of formal expression. It is a way of expressing yourself, expressing your identity, expressing your mood. When I'm not in a good mood, I don't really want to be seen, I'll wear like baggy clothes, all black, wear a hood, and I want to feel depressed. I will, feel my feelings through clothes. So the concept suggests that certain colors, textures, and certain outfits make you feel happy or make you feel a certain way. Happier, energized, joyful, the list can go on. And from my studies and understanding of colors within art, every color has a connotation. Red is either considered like sexy or powerful. So if you were going to an interview and you wanted to feel powerful, you wanted to feel confident, wear red underwear, or those kind of things. So there's a couple of papers and scientific evidence backing this theory and backing this concept, the concept of dopamine dressing. But dopamine isn't literally released when you wear a certain color. So it's not as scientific like that, but it is still, science has proved that when you wear a certain color, it can improve your mood. So, if I'm going to wear a pink jumper, it's not going to actually release dopamine, but it might give me that sense of positive association that it comes with the color pink. Again, like red with underwear. If I have a important meeting or whatever, I'll wear red. And basically I've seen more and more people discussing this topic, more and more people discussing this concept. And I kind of try to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole to understand why this is happening, or where it's come from, or why it's a trend. I found three main reasons. One, very obvious, the post-pandemic emotional reset. I think we were all absolutely fucked from Corona and the pandemic and being in isolation. And I think my generation will be studied as a generation that, like, their minds just flipped. Like, yeah. I think my generation will be very interested to study the brains, our brains, because we were affected. I was in university when Corona happened. So that's the main thing. I think we were so isolated from the world, and, we were so lonely, and we didn't know how to dress ourselves anymore. To the point where people were like, how do we dress? How do I express who I've become? I think Gen Z and millennials also have a more of importance on self-love, self-care, self-expression. Whereas I feel like the older generations didn't, we didn't talk about mental health or anything like that, my parents' age and above. So yeah, we kind of shifted that. Millennials and Gen Z shifted that focus to more of a self-love, self-expression mindset. So I think that's also fed into the art of dopamine dressing trend. But also just TikTok. TikTok really gave birth to this concept of like main character energy. And, everyone was now like, I am the main character of my story. And if I was actually the main character, what would I wear? What would she be dressing? And it was quite fun to fantasize about your dream life, but make it real by wearing what your dream version of you would wear. But it's like, why wait? Why wait till we have the dream version of ourselves? We just wear it now. And then, that kind of also ties into that concept and idea of like, dress for the woman you want to be. So if you want to be like, earning all this, or like wear the old money aesthetic, why wait? Just start now. That kind of feeds into my other point, is we dress up and we have so much fun over Halloween. Over Halloween, we have so much fun. We dress up, we get crazy, we get playful, we get in touch with our childlike self. but why do we have to wait till one night a year to dress up and to have fun and express ourselves? And yes, you know, we're not going to dress up like a cat or Captain Hook every day of our lives. If you want to, that by all means do that. But yeah, it's more like just wear what you want to wear, you know. So for example, I'm wearing, you know, for example, for me, I'm not really into the whole prints and patterns and wearing too many different fabrics at once. I can't really do that. But I love a neon jumper. I love a neon jumper. And since London in the UK, it's constantly raining, it's constantly depressed, constantly just miserable, to be honest, especially this year where it's basically been raining non-stop for this entire year so far. I love a neon jumper. I love a neon jumper. There is nothing that puts me in a good mood than a neon jumper, especially in the winter. And I've said this in many other videos before, I don't wear puffer coats, and I don't like the fact that every single puffer coat everyone's wearing just black. Like, it's depressing. So wearing a neon yellow jumper in the midst of winter and you like stick out, and honestly, like, the pop of color is actually just, it puts a smile on my face. And I honestly think it puts smiles on other people's faces, because it's just, we're seeing gray all the time. So seeing a pop of color is actually therapeutic and nice and beautiful. So yeah, it's kind of when we wear certain clothes, outfits, colors, it sparks a certain emotion, you know. Even again, so even in another video that I posted a couple of weeks ago now about trending and like trends versus hoarder, and how I actually hoard a lot of my clothes. But that being said, within that is actually a lot of dopamine dressing for me. So wearing clothes that are very nostalgic to me, or that have memories, or where I wear it or look at it, I know exactly where I bought it, I know exactly where I wear it, I knew exactly how many people I was talking to that night, I know, you know. So it's the memories. Clothes hold memories. So whether you're dressing because you really like the color green, and green is your entire personal identity, great. Or if you're wearing something because it reminds you of a certain time or a certain event or whatever, if it sparks an emotion, that to me is dopamine dressing. Instead of numbing yourselves or making you feel something by drinking or doing drugs, it's better to make you feel an emotion or feel something through dopamine dressing and through fashion. Because fashion is art, fashion is expression, fashion is, yeah, it's just a way of life. You know, we get dressed every day. We might as well enjoy what we look like. And you know, that goes back to the Gen Z and millennial shifting things of, I think before it was you would dress for the male gaze, and I think now, I think women still dress for the male gaze. Whether they convince themselves that they do or don't is different, but I do think they still, you know, strive for that male attention. But I think it's gone from an 80% to 20%. So now 80% of the time, so instead of dressing 80% of the time for men, you're dressing 80% of the time for you. And you do think like, oh, I'm going to a club, I want to wear a mini skirt, not a maxi skirt, you know, like you still think of it. And I think you're doing it for yourself, but you also subconsciously know that at a club you want to show a bit more skin, you know. So it's having that conviction of being like, I want to dress what I want to dress like. But I do think there's still a level of dressing for, you know, approval. I don't know, maybe it's not the male approval, but maybe it's your peers, you know, approval. I might not be dressing for a man, but I still want recognition and stuff from friends, you know. It's still important to me. I'm still going to put in effort when I go out for dinner. I mean, even if I go out and to go to a friend's house and we're literally just watching a movie, I'm still going to like brush my hair and brush my teeth and shower, you know. I'm still going to get ready. I might be putting on tracks and a jumper and not jeans and heeled boots, but I'm still dressing for myself and for the societal norms. So yeah, I think the art of dopamine dressing is just putting yourself first in that way, and saying, you know what, I don't want to wear jeans. Like the other day I woke up and I was like, I don't want to wear trousers, I don't want to wear smart trousers, I don't want to wear jeans, and I wore leggings. Because I was like, I don't care. It's going to make me feel comfortable. It's going to make me feel happy. It's going to make me feel free. And at the end of the day, the only person that is with you from start to finish, morning, noon, night, is you. So putting yourself first shouldn't be selfish. It should be admired. And a way you can do that, and I think if you're in a mentally rut, if you're in a mental rut and you are mentally struggling, I think dopamine dressing is the first small step you could take. Like, no one's saying go out and buy a whole new wardrobe or completely change your identity, because I understand that. Like, I understand, and I've been there. When you are feeling depressed, the last thing you want to do is get dressed, let alone put in 30 minutes to an outfit, So I get that, and I respect that. I've been there. It's hard. It's hard to dress when you don't want to get out of bed. It's hard when all you want to do is just go back to bed. It's really difficult to dress up. I get that. But I will say the art of dopamine dressing is a very, very easy way to get a little bit of a dopamine hit. You know what I mean? It's a very easy way to just start. So, even if it's wearing your football team's jersey, or wearing the jumper you got at your leavers graduation in high school, or top that you got on a girl's trip to Magaluf, like, if it's going to bring you the memories of a good time. To me, if I was feeling a bit depressed and not wanting to get out of the bed or anything, and I found a t-shirt that held a lot of memories, actually I found my school tour trip top. We all got tops made, and I found it, and I wore it, and honestly it made me so happy. It was just, I wore it and I thought of the memories, I thought of the school trip, I thought of the people, and it put me in a nostalgic, happy, joyful mood, and it really put me in a good mood. So I saw the benefits of it, and I see the benefits of it. I see how wearing your favorite jumper or your favorite dress or your favorite pair of jeans can just make you feel better and powerful and sexy and all of the above. I think if you've been exposed to the concepts but you haven't tried it, take this as your sign to try it, because it is a good hack. It is a good hack. It is a good, I feel a bit like this. Let me just throw something on to just lift my mood a little bit. But I also, on the other hand, I also agree that if you're feeling the moods, feel the moods. I'm fully against this idea of, well, I feel a little depressed today, turn the paper, but life's great and I'm grateful. No, I think you have to sit and feel the emotions. So if you are feeling a bit mentally rough, that's okay. But at least, instead of wearing nothing or wearing something that you've been wearing for 3 days, if you want to wear a black jumper, instead of wearing the one that you've been wearing for 4 days, wear your favorite black jumper. You know what I mean? Instead of wearing your ex's jumper and crying about the relationship that never happened, wear your favorite jeans. Yeah, I think in those areas, in those small situations, the art of dopamine dressing can really help someone or really benefit someone. And I also really wish I knew about this sooner, because the few times I have embraced the art of dopamine dressing, I have felt the difference and I have seen the difference. So I kind of wish someone told me this before. But it's never too late to start now. So that's my 2 cents for this week. Embrace the art of dopamine dressing. It can be daunting. It can be intimidating, because I also think you instantly get this perception of like, okay, everything's going to be great because of dopamine hitting. Like, my life's going to change. No, I'll put that out there. No, it's not going to instantly change your life just by wearing one outfit. But it is an easy thing to adopt, to make small, actionable changes to change your life for the better. But that's me for this week. A little short and sweet. But as usual, I'm going to love and leave. I'll see you same time, same place next week.